Hi everyone, bienvenidos. Welcome to my second episode of Charlemos Juntas. I am your host, Amy Villarreal. I have a special guest with me today, my sister Erika.
Hi everyone.
Thank you so much for being here today, sister.
Thank you for having me.
I know you're a little nervous, but you'll get the hang of it. I'm still kind of nervous too, so it's okay.
I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, that's okay. So today we are going to be talking about loss, the loss of loved ones, loss of family members. We're going to talk about our experience with COVID and how we lost some family members that meant a lot to us and how difficult that whole experience was for us, for me and my sister both. So just a little bit of a summary, sister. You and I, lived in Brownwood together, and we lived there during COVID. And whenever we first started experiencing COVID, we all, as a nation, were trying to figure out what the heck to even do. But it was different once COVID actually hit our family. And thinking back on that, did you ever think that what we went through was going to happen? Like before it happened, did you think, oh, we got to be careful with COVID? You never know. What if it hits our family? What if we lose people? Did you ever think that thought ever cross your mind that we would?
No. When I remember when I first heard of COVID was when I was in working for elementary school, and I remember it was December and the news were saying that the COVID was going pretty bad, is coming here in the United States, and I didn't really get too scared. I was thinking, that's scary, that's something that maybe we won't go through. I didn't think anything of it until people started saying that it's in Washington, it's in New York, it's coming to Texas now, and that's when I'm like, this is becoming serious.
This is real.
Yeah,
because it took a little bit for us to see the first case in Brownwood. Like, it didn't happen as soon as it was happening in bigger cities across the country. It took a little bit. I think it was maybe end of March that year, beginning of April, when I remember, seeing the news for Brownwood, first COVID case reported. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking, oh man, like, that's scary. That's close to home. And I remember being one of the ones that was wearing a mask every time I went out, was disinfecting everything that I needed to. Any precaution that we were told to take, I did not think that it was silly. I was like, you know what? You're right. Stay 6 feet apart if you can.
Yeah.
Don't go out if you don't need to. So I did everything that I could on my part, because I thought, well, yeah, you never know. And I don't want to take any chances. And I know when you worked for the school during that time, they had their own regulations and things that you had to follow up until they closed the schools, right?
Yeah, they closed the schools, and we were just doing Zoom with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something new for the kids and not something new for the teachers, because we couldn't see the kids and the kids couldn't see us. And you could see literally all the little kids that were there for COVID, they didn't understand anything what was going on. And we just, they started to wear masks and they were confused about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But even us as adults, we were confused as well.
Yeah, because we didn't know exactly what to expect.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where if it's not happening directly to you, you're kind of like, well, it's not a big deal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where if it's not happening to you, you don't know what it's like.
Yeah. Nope.
And so you just kind of did what you were told to do, and you did the best that you could do. But then summer came around, and I remember telling our parents, you know, I remember being like, tengan cuidado, no, si no tienen que salir, no salgan, quédense en casa. But there's only so much you can do, and like I said, since it's not happening to you, you don't know what it's like. So sometimes, you know, people won't take you as seriously as you'd hope.
Yep.
And so, you know, they traveled out of town to go visit family, and unfortunately, one of our tias, one of our aunts, had caught COVID at her work, and she was really sick. She ended up getting really sick, but since our mom had gone to visit them, she was around them, and she wasn't just around our mom, she was around our dad, a few aunts and uncles, our grandmother, and they almost all of them ended up with COVID.
Yep.
I think our dad was the only one that didn't end up with COVID. He never tested positive. But everybody else that was there ended up testing positive for COVID.
Yes.
And I will say, when that all happened, I was upset at Tia Pati. And for our viewers and our listeners, our Tia Pati is she was one of my mom's sisters, and she caught COVID at work, and she was around some more of her siblings, including my mom, and everyone caught COVID from that. And when that happened, I was upset with her.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, and I remember telling mommy, like, because she I remember, I don't know if she called me or texted me, and she said, we're here at your abuelita's, your tia Pati is really sick. We think she's got COVID, because she said that somebody at work had COVID and went to work with COVID. And I got upset, and I remember telling her, she doesn't need to be around y'all. She needs to go home. She needs to go get tested. She needs to isolate herself. She can't be around y'all, because that is putting everybody there at risk.
Yeah.
I'm like, Mom, why is she there? She needs to stay away. Yeah. And she didn't. She was around everybody, and I remember feeling really upset that she had done that.
Yeah. Because
I just thought, I wondered, like, why? Like, why did you think that was okay? Like, especially being around Abuelita and her age, you know, and.
But I think because when she was sick, she probably just didn't want to be by herself. She just felt that she needed her family, and she didn't know the consequences with COVID, and nobody did at that time. Nobody cared. They thought, oh, COVID is just a cold, but they never knew that COVID is something stronger than just a cold.
Yeah.
Nobody had a cure for it yet.
Yeah.
So probably in her mind,
it wasn't a big deal.
And
she'd get better eventually. Yeah. And she was always about family time, and I know that she always was happy to see everybody, and So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. She probably didn't think anything of it, didn't think it was a big deal,
No.
and so, mommy ended up with COVID.
Yeah.
And she got really sick, and that was scary. That I don't know how much you remember from that experience, but we were quarantined for like a month, a little over a month, it felt like.
Yeah.
I don't quite remember how long, but I know it was at least a month. And we couldn't see each other. We couldn't leave our rooms. At the time we all lived together. And I remember mommy being really sick, and I remember feeling scared because it hit her so hard, and she couldn't get out of bed. And if she did get out of bed, she couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
And it was so difficult to understand, and to be away from her and to not be able to help her, to help her get out of bed, to help her do anything. We couldn't be there.
Yeah.
Even if, she didn't want us to be around, because she didn't want us to be exposed even more, because me and you never actually tested positive for COVID during that time, right?
No. I haven't.
Yeah.
And we tested two times?
At least two times.
Mm-hmm. 2 times. Twice, because the first time we wanted to see if she still came out positive, and then the second time she started to come out negative. That's what the only thing I would remember.
Yeah.
Because mainly I don't remember any of the first month of COVID being quarantined for that whole month. It's just, let's say, blank month.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really remember anything about her being in the room. I do remember her coughs. But other than that, no, I don't remember anything, because I was there, but I wasn't there. Nah, I don't remember anything. Just her cough. That's it. That's all I can remember.
Yeah. Yeah, because you started to struggle with your anxiety, and you started having panic attacks just because of everything that was going on. But at first we did what we could, and we stayed in our rooms, and for me that was difficult to do, because being stuck inside a small room for 3-4 weeks, like consecutively, there would be days where we'd all go outside separately to get some fresh air, but it was lonely, and I grew tired of it fast. But also, like, I was so worried about mommy and how she felt, and how I couldn't do anything. And the weeks passed, and our abuelita, she ended up passing away from COVID, and that was hard, because everything was happening, and we were still stuck in the house.
Yeah.
And we lost our grandmother, and we were stuck in the house, and during this time, and people weren't allowed in the hospitals.
Yeah.
It was just the patients and the staff, and so nobody was there with her. Nobody could be there with her, even if we wanted to.
Yeah.
There was no way to do that at that time. And I don't know, I think about I think about maybe how she felt.
Mm-hmm.
If she felt alone. And, you know, she was in her 90s. She got to live a long time, but
she was a very strong, independent woman. But when she passed away, to me, I was okay because she has suffered. She was scared, but she was suffering so much just being in bed all day and night and just on the wheelchair. And it wasn't our grandma who we used to be growing up. She was more weaker, more she couldn't be independent on her own. She needed somebody. And that's somebody that she thought she never wanted to be. So to me, when she passed away, it did hurt and I let it out, but I remember only the Zooms that we had outside. That's all I can remember was when she passed away. We had a Zoom. I remember Tia Pati was in the Zoom, and we were just, saying talk about her, talk about who she was when she was alive. But that's all I can remember.
I forgot about that. I forgot about the Zooms. We finally were able to be around each other a little bit, and Mommy was feeling a little bit better. Mm-hmm. She was spending more time outside. Yeah. And so we were able to get together through Zoom, which is, knowing our family, that's weird.
Yeah. They're just like, what is this? Why am I talking to a computer?
Yeah, because used to, before COVID, we'd just get together.
Yeah.
And, losing our grandmother, not being able to be together to hug each other, that was difficult. And but being able to get together through Zoom, that was better than nothing.
Yeah.
And it helped us. It reminded each other that we were still here. Mm-hmm. And her memory will forever live with us. And
yes.
And I miss her, but I know that she's in a better place and she's happy. Mm-hmm. And that gives me a lot of peace and knowing that she's happy. But Abuelita passed away first. Mm-hmm. And then I think we made the mistake of telling Tia Pati that she had passed.
Yeah, because I do remember when the Zoom, Tia Pati was getting weaker and weaker. And I think with the news, with her losing her mom, it affected her the most. And I do remember she was I think that was the only time in Zoom that we got to see her. That was the last time, actually, that we saw her, and we didn't know that would be our last time to see her face to face. Because after that's when she started to get sicker,
yeah, because Abuelita was in the hospital and then passed away, but Tia Pati was also in the hospital. Mm-hmm. At the same time.
Yeah.
And she started getting worse, especially after she found out that Abuelita had passed away. Mm-hmm. And that took a huge toll on her. And I do remember her being on that Zoom call now and being able to talk to us, but she was so full of emotion. She was always a very emotional person. And,
oh, well, yeah.
And she had such a big heart, and she... she cared about everyone, and she cared deeply. And so when she passed, that was hard, because she had just turned 50 and she was so excited. Yeah, no, I remember at the time I was, earlier that year I had been making t-shirts and stuff. Remember when I was making t-shirts?
Yes.
And she had asked me to make her a t-shirt about her turning 50, and she wanted a specific thing with a specific pattern and stuff, and I did everything I could to find exactly what she wanted, and I made it for her, and I sent it to her. And I remember her telling me, send me the bill with the shirt. And I sent her the shirt, and I didn't include a bill. I was, that was kind of like my gift to her for her birthday.
Yeah.
And she's like, Mija, I remember her texting me and saying, Mija, you forgot my invoice. And I was like, don't worry about it. That's my gift to you. I want you to have a good birthday. And I still have those messages because I can't get myself to delete them, because I feel like I'm deleting her. It's silly, but
yeah. It's hard to erase the people that you have in your life since you've grown up. It's hard because there's a little bit in your heart that you still don't accept that they're gone.
Always. There's always going to be that part where you're just like, if I could change it, I would.
Yeah.
And she's definitely one of those people that if I could bring her back, if I could have even just another moment with her, I would. And the thing of it is that, like, at the beginning of all of this, we never imagined what was coming.
Yeah, no. We were just thinking COVID was like other people. It's just a cold. Or it'll never reach us. We're the family that'll never get caught with COVID. But then when it did, it was like a tornado, just sweeping away, taking the people with it.
It really was, yeah.
Because, like, it's the most, like, scary part, because when it happened to us in our family, that's when you're just thinking, oh, now.
That's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
We're dealing with it now.
Yeah, going back to that.
Yeah.
It does, it like, it, you don't worry about it until it's happening to you. And that was a rude awakening.
Yeah.
And it was hard, and, that was tough. And especially for our mom, she was, slowly getting better, but she wasn't 100%.
No.
Yet. She was still struggling a little bit, and then, she lost her mother, and then she lost her sister, and one of the sisters that she was the closest to. And I just felt like in that moment, I felt like how is my mom ever going to recover from this?
Yeah.
Like, she's having such a hard time, and there's nothing that I can do. It's one of those things where, like, I'm sad too.
Yeah.
But you have to set your feelings aside, because, mom needs us, and we need to be there for her, and we need to support her. And I've seen I've seen her cry in my lifetime, but this was definitely different. And
It was more of a, she lost her, not just her mom, but she lost her best friend with the apathy. It was her best friend, her sister. It was like someone so special to her that she just lost a part of herself.
she really did.
And that's what I myself wanted to be strong for her, so she doesn't so I can be there to pick her up.
So that she can have that moment of weakness.
Yes. Like, you can cry as much as you want, but I'll be there to pick you up.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I didn't really let my emotions out when the apathy passed away. I just didn't want to either accept it, or I just didn't want to see it, that she's gone. But then I saw that our mom was getting weaker and more heartbroken. So I was just like, all right, I'll wait until she's done. I'll pick her up, see if I can help her.
Yeah, because we already weren't able to do much. Mm-hmm. So the least we could do is
see if we can be there for her.
Be there for her, and just be present and let her feel everything that she needed to feel, and let it all out. And that happened, and that was really difficult for her.
Yeah.
And then
we
lost
another tia after 2 weeks after her?
A week and a half or something. We ended up losing Tia Leonor. And that one caught me, I'll be honest, that one caught me by surprise, because she felt fine at first. Yep. I remember her saying, I feel fine. I know, she's like, I know I was around y'all, but I feel okay. And then all of a sudden she didn't feel fine. And
no, they took her to the hospital right away.
She was also in the hospital,
but she didn't wake up. She went straight to being asleep.
She quickly started having issues with her lungs. She was struggling to breathe, and I do remember them putting her on oxygen, and
it just
that was it.
That went downhill from there. So I don't think she even knew. I think when she started to feel it was when Abuelita went to the hospital. And then
it took a while.
She didn't know that the apathy passed away. She hasn't known.
She didn't know. That's right.
We didn't want to tell her that, because we wanted her to get better, but we never knew.
Yeah, we didn't know. We prayed that it wouldn't be that way, and
yeah.
But she ended up passing, and she was another one of Mommy's sisters, and another close sister.
Yeah, they were always, in contact. Tia Leonor would always call Mama for anything, or Tia Pati would call Ma right after she got to work. So it was like Mommy knew, I'm going to get a call from them, so let me keep my phone ready.
Yeah. They were like the main two sisters that always kept in touch and checked in on her, and she'd do the same for them. And then all of a sudden, they're both gone, and it was so hard for her. And I remember just watching her fall apart. And I know nobody wants to see their parent suffer, just like they don't ever want to see us suffer, because it hurts to watch the people that you love in pain. And again, at that time, like, we're so full of emotion, and me and you want to feel what we need to feel, but we can't, because we want to be able to be a support system for her. And so we couldn't really show our emotions, and we had to
be there for Ama to be stronger. And so that's, to me, I thought that would be my job. I didn't want to, I didn't cry. I did cry for a little bit, but then I just couldn't anymore. I was just like, no, I can't cry. I have to be strong. And then I didn't want to cry for the Honor either. And I was like, I can't. I have to be strong. I have to be strong for Ama. So if I cry, I'm weak. I can't be weak. I have to she has to she has to see me that I'm strong.
That I'm okay.
Yeah. So it's really hard. And that's after the Día del Honor. That's when it went downhill, I think, for me. A little bit maybe before, maybe after her, because I didn't feel what I'm supposed to feel. I hid my emotions. I just didn't want nobody to see me cry, because I didn't want mommy to be like, she's crying, she probably, I need to be there for her. No, I want the other way around. And so I started to have anxiety attacks, panic attacks after Tia Pati, because I was like, well, Tia Pati has COVID, mommy has COVID. What if I get COVID? What happens if I get COVID? Do I suffer what they suffered? Am I gonna die? That's what scared me the most. So that's why I don't remember anything in the summer, because the summer I was just panicking. What could happen to me? So I was scared. I was really scared, and I don't remember anything after Tia Pati passed away, and then when Tia Leonor, before Tia Leonor passed away, I fainted, and that's when my mom and my dad were scared, because I told them, I'm okay, I'm good. I just feel a little bit I feel blue. And so I walked, thought I was because I got COVID, but then I didn't have COVID. And then I don't know where I was eating watermelon and I fainted. And I told my mom, I don't feel good. I fainted. And then they caught me and they were like trying to wake me up. I can remember hearing them, but then a little bit I couldn't. And then they're like, maybe you do have COVID. We need to go call the ambulance. So they called the ambulance. They took me and I was just shaking in the ambulance. And then the guy in the ambulance said, what's wrong? And I said, I don't know, maybe I have COVID. And he's like, well, what's the matter? And that's when I just cried with him. And he's like, what's wrong? And I said, I lost my grandma in the end of last month. And then I lost my aunt in the beginning of this new month. And I lost my other aunt. And he's just like, well, that's a lot to deal with. And I'm like, yes. So I was like, I guess it could be that I'm in pain. I'm not letting my emotions out. And it was just a strange guy in the ambulance, and I couldn't hold it in. And I let it out with that guy that I don't even know who he is. And that's when I went to the hospital, and they said, you had a panic attack. You don't have COVID. And I'm like, oh. He's like, let's take this medication to calm your nerves, because you are having an attack, a panic attack. So I didn't even know what that thing, panic attack, meant until I finally felt it. And that's when I knew I have to let it out.
Yeah.
So after Tia Leonor passed away, that's when I knew her death took more of a hold, because she's not a special tia like all the other tias we have. All my tias are my tias, but Tia Leonor was very special for me. She's just funny, outgoing, and I just couldn't believe the one tia that was very outgoing is gone. The tia that would always say, Erika, ¿qué estás haciendo? Or like, all those little words she would always say, and come laughing and dancing. That's when I knew, I'm like, I think that's who I lost. Was somebody upbeat. And I couldn't hold it anymore. After the ambulance took me, after I went back home, I was like, I need to let it out. And then my mommy was like, you really need to let it out. And I was like, but I'm scared if I let it out. That means they're really gone. So mommy was like, and they are, they're gone. And you have to feel those feelings. So 3 days just letting it out. And I was like, I need to feel these feelings I have. Losing the people that I love. But with Tia Leonor passing away, that's when I knew. I guess I was scared. I let it out, and mommy was there by my side, because I wasn't letting the emotions in my heart. I was just closing myself off.
You were bottling it all up inside.
Yeah.
And it was only making it worse.
It was making it way worse. And now it's thinking back, I should have let it all out.
As soon as it was happening, and
I should have cried a lot when my abuelita passed away. Should have cried when Tia Patti, and I should have cried when Tia Leonor. But I just bottled it all in. I was too scared of letting it out, because I didn't want my depression to come back.
Yeah.
That's what scared me also.
Yeah. It was difficult for you, and she was, and it's okay to admit that she was someone that you were closer to.
Yeah.
She was one of your tias that you were closer to, and she was such a good person, and she was always there for us, and she cared immensely about our mom, and she always looked out for her, and she was there when our mom didn't have anybody else, when everyone else turned their back on her. You know, she was a second mom to our brother.
Yeah.
And he loved her so much. And, you know, because she helped our mom raise him, and she loved him as her own.
Yeah.
And she was always there for them, and there are so many people in our lives that have treated us wrong, and so many family members that have made us feel like and talked about us and talked down to us, but she was never one of those people. She was always so happy to see us. And I remember thinking, you know, which there were a few of our tios and tias that would joke around with you more.
Yeah.
But she always was so happy to see you, and sometimes, you know, I'd get a little jealous, like
Yeah.
like, oh, what about me? But like I understood that your relationship with her was different, and
Yeah. It was, I guess she would get mad. She's like my other grandma.
she would get mad.
She would get so mad. She was more like my grandma. Slash tía.
I could almost hear her say, "Mira esta huerca,
Esta cabrona.
esta cabrona."
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was more, I was more close to her, because every time we visit, she would come to me, and I would just, you know, be like a little child to her. She would laugh, and she liked it. And then I would always remember, you know, like every party is like Aista with her beer.
She was the life of the party.
She was
for sure. And
so if the moment that we lost her, that's the moment we knew we lost something special. Tia Pati was very special too. And Walita, of course.
But for you personally.
I think that broke me the most was, Tia Leonor.
Yeah. She was a very bright light that went out for all of us. And
yes. Because sometimes, I mean, till this day, I always say, if we had a party, she would be here, screaming,
dancing,
laughing. Yep.
I can't ever play loteria without thinking about her.
Yeah.
Every time we play loteria, I think about her.
Same.
And, you know, she was just so full of life.
Yes. She was, and
she was gone too soon. And
all three of them were gone way too soon. Tia Pati was gone too soon. She
was still so young.
Yeah.
Tia Pati still had
a lot of things she wanted to
do.
A
lot of years left, and a lot of plans for herself. And, you know, for me personally, her death is harder.
Yeah.
And it's strange because, you know, I've been honest about this, you know. We grew up together, so you know the things that I've been through, just like I know the things that you've been through. But me and her butted heads a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And especially growing up, I hated when people laughed at me. I was so shy, and it would hurt my feelings, and she loved laughing at me.
Oh, yeah.
I'd do something, and I'm just like, I wasn't trying to be funny. Why are you laughing at me? But she always, I could just think and hear her laugh. She's always laughing, but as a kid, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I didn't like people laughing at me, but yeah, me and her, we butted heads a lot when I was growing up. But she was mommy's best friend. On top of being her sister, they were best friends, and so she was always around. When we'd go visit, we'd go to Genes and Hondo to go visit family, to go visit Abuelita. She was always there.
Yeah.
She always showed up, and through my teen years, me and her, from a kid through my teen years, me and her butted heads a lot, and I don't know, somewhere down the road it changed. In my 20s,
Yeah.
I started appreciating her more and becoming closer to her, and we started taking trips. That trip that we took to that rock shop that you talked about so much, and I remember you telling her, let's go check it out, and we made the trip to Austin to go to that rock shop, and I just remember her being so excited about it. She always found excitement in the little things, and she was always so happy just to be spending any time with us. And I think that was one of the moments when I realized that my relationship with her had gotten stronger, and I enjoyed being around her because I remember that trip, and I remember enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, I remember all the trips that we went with mommy, her, and papi, and it was just all like, there was one that we went to a flea market. I don't know where it was.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I think it was just us four, and we went, and there was this other kind of looking rock shop. It was like more Native American. I think it was in San Antonio, and we stopped there, and there was this rock, and I have it till this day. And she's like, here, because you like collecting rocks, I bought you this. I was like, oh, thank you. And till this day, I keep it in my little altar, or I keep it where I think it looks cute.
Yeah.
Because it's pink and shiny inside.
And she thought of you when she bought it.
Yeah, so I was like, this is nice. I like it. And she never really judged anything that I liked, because she wanted me to be like, go for it.
And she was always real interested in what you were interested in, and you could talk to her about anything, and she'd give you her undivided attention.
Yeah. That's when I do, like, sometimes talk to her when I feel pain, like heartache, where I'm going through love problems, and I talk to her like, what would you do in my situation? And like, it feels nice to and I do talk to her when I need to, or let it out. And
it's good to let it out. Even to this day, it's good to just...
And with the apati, that's what was more... I was comfortable talking to her about anything. Like, if something's going on in the house, or something, little love problem, or whatever it is, she's there and she listens. She's never interrupting you. She's never there telling you, like, oh, let's change the subject to something else. She's always there listening. And then with her it's like more serious, and with Tia Leonor it's more funny.
Yeah, Tia Leonor definitely brightened your day and made you feel happy, and Tia Pati was that friend that was there when you needed her to be, and she loved kids, but unfortunately she was never able to have her own.
Yep.
So she loved all of her nieces and nephews like her own, and she was there for, and it's a lot of us.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of us, and she was always there for all of us, and I learned to appreciate her more. And I remember when me and you and one of our cousins, we got together to buy her, because she loved James Avery.
Oh yeah.
She was all about James Avery. She's the one who got us into James Avery.
Yep.
And we bought her that charm that said Thea. And I'll never forget how happy she was whenever she opened her gift, because we had gotten it to her. We had gotten it for her for Christmas.
And it was her last Christmas.
It was her last Christmas with us.
Yep.
And she was so happy. And it was a little charm, and it made her so happy. And that was the last time that she was with all of us. And that's just a memory that I'm always going to cherish. And I struggle a lot with losing her. She had so much more life left in her, and I definitely felt her absence a lot stronger. And it was hard. It was really, really hard for a long time. And I'll always forever miss every single one of them, and
same.
I'll always think about them. And it's when you lose someone that you love, there's no end to the grieving, to the mourning. Like, I've learned that you learn to live with it.
Yes.
You learn to live with that feeling that stays in your heart. And I've come to accept that it's never gonna be the same, but that's okay, because they were here, and while they were here, they loved us, and we owe it to them to carry them in our hearts for the rest of our lives.
And like I tell Ama, if you feel a sad day, feel it, let it out, rather than just like me bottling it in. If that day, like, let's say you do something and it reminds you of them, laugh, cry,
do what you need to do
what you need to do, or say, hey, that right there just remind me of her.
Yeah.
And laugh it out, or do something.
I remember throughout that time, there were moments where I just felt like I needed to cry, and there was always a reason that I gave myself to not. It was either the wrong time, because you don't get to control when to feel. You don't get to put it in your calendar. Okay, Wednesday afternoon would be a great time for me
to let it out.
No, it just hits you when it hits you. And so there was always some sort of reason why I was like, no, like, get it together. It's not the time. And so I bottled it in too for a long time. And
when I started work in the school, I remember perfectly that day when I was in a library, and I wanted to give Mommy for Christmas a portrait. And I was like, but I was like, what kind of portrait? So I saw the most perfect gift for her to get. I was like, this is it. This is the perfect gift for her on Christmas. Because this was the first Christmas without them. And the lady that was emailing me, she sent me a portrait. And it was just an outline of Tia Leonor, Tia Pati, Abuelita, and Jesus in the back. And it wasn't even painting, and I cried. I couldn't hold it in.
Yeah.
Because that's when I was like, this means they're gone. So I showed my mom, and my mom cried. She let it all out. She knew. That's it. That's the picture.
That was such a nice idea.
Yeah.
And I still have, I hang mine.
Yeah.
I have it next to my Virgencita, and
Yep.
it just, it feels good to know, like in the portrait, they're together, so it's good to know that they're together.
Yeah. They're together in a safe place.
Yeah, they're safe, they're happy, they're reunited with their loved ones that they've lost, and just waiting.
Yeah, waiting for us when it's time, but
and
it's not gonna be when we want it. Yeah.
Patiently waiting, but
patiently waiting for the time to be all together.
But it's okay to feel what you need to feel for as long as you need to feel it. And I know that 20, 40 years from now, I'm still gonna remember who they were, and I'm still gonna think about them and possibly get sad, but because they meant so much to me, and I'd rather feel that than feel nothing at all.
Yeah.
Just don't forget to live your life, and don't forget to be happy, just in general, be happy, because that's what they would want for us. They want us to carry on and to live a happy life, because they lived happy lives with us, and
they've gone through loss when they were alive, and they knew
what it was like, and
so they don't want the same. They wouldn't want the same.
Yeah, they want us to
go on.
It's good advice to follow, anyone that's experiencing loss or have experienced loss in their life. It's okay to feel sad, to feel, because your heart feels shattered.
Yeah.
It feels like it's literally shattered into a million pieces, but and it's okay to cry and feel everything that you need to feel. If it's anger, feel the anger. If it's sadness, feel the sadness. It's like, sit with your sadness a while, but don't stay there. Don't lock the door. Don't barricade the door shut.
Come out and enjoy the life that you have. Yeah,
because that's what our loved ones would want us to do. They wouldn't want you to be sad for the rest of your life. They want you to continue your life and to live your life the way that you were meant to live it, and to be happy. And you carrying on their memory is enough for them. You don't have to stop loving them just because they're no longer here.
Yeah.
Continue to love them and continue to honor them, but don't forget to live your life.
Yeah. Exactly.
If you're having a difficult time, talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Talk to someone, whether that be a close friend, a family member, therapy. Talk to someone about it. Don't you're not alone. You're not alone. Don't bottle it in, and let it out. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise you're drowning.
Yes.
And you're not coming up for air.
No.
You cry and you can breathe again.
Yeah.
And a lot of times in Hispanic households, you're taught that crying is a weakness.
Yes.
But it's not. It's liberating. It feels good. It's not a bad thing. And don't let somebody convince you that it is, because it's necessary. Otherwise, I just feel like we wouldn't be able to cry. We were given the ability to cry so that we could. We were given the ability to feel sadness and feel pain, because we were also given the ability to love deeply, and you can't do one without the other. And when you have those people that you care about and you love so deeply, you're gonna have that fear of losing them, because you love them so much. And like, when the day comes that you lose loved ones, that's gonna come with sadness, because you loved them.
Yes.
And if I had the choice of, choose to love this person and feel sadness and pain when they're taken away from you, or don't love this person and you won't feel pain, I'd pick love every single time.
Same.
Because that memory of them, carrying that memory of them, of what Abuelita meant to me, what Tia Pati meant to me, what Tia Leonor meant to me, I'd choose that a million times over than not feeling that love at all. Because
pushing people away just because you don't want to get hurt.
Exactly. It's not. Love is always gonna be worth it. We as Latinas, we grow up in such close knitted families, and we grow to love a lot of people very, very strongly, and loss is something that's very difficult. It's very hard, but it's a part of life. And life is nothing without love, and with love comes pain, because we lose those that we love. No one is here forever.
No.
And then, but don't let that be a reason why you choose to not love. Don't be afraid to.
Yeah, and don't close out your emotions. Don't block your emotions. Just let it out.
Yeah.
If you're afraid to be close to your family because you're scared, that's just...
it's not worth it.
No, it's not. You're pushing away.
Yeah. So always love, and love strongly. Don't be afraid. And loss is a part of life, and it's hard, but continue to live your life to the fullest, and don't give up. Keep moving forward.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you, sister, for coming and being on here. Thank you
for having me.
I know that it wasn't an easy topic for us to talk about, but it's been so long, and I know that there are other Latina women out there who have or are currently going through the same thing.
Yes.
And it's good to talk about, and it's good to know that we're not alone. And just, we just keep moving forward and living
life,
our good
lives.
Yes, take it step by step. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And to my viewers and my listeners, thank you so much for being here and for supporting me. I know that today's topic was a very emotional and difficult topic to discuss, but I know that we are all going through different things in our lives, and we all experience loss, and I want you to know that it's okay, and it's okay to feel all those things. You are not alone, and your feelings are valid. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and my podcast, which is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. I'm also on social media. Everything will be linked below. Thank you for tuning in. Hasta la próxima.